At Antioch Missionary Church in Houston, history is repeating itself. A former enslaved man founded the church after Juneteenth when news of the Emancipation Proclamation came to Texas. Now Pastor Lou McElroy is carrying on the legacy of his wife's great-great-grandfather. Here's Heather Sells with the story.
Pastor Lou McElroy says long before the Lord brought him to Antioch Baptist, Jack Yates, the great-great-grandfather of his wife and the church's first full-time pastor, received the divine call as well. Born enslaved in 1828 on a Virginia plantation, McElroy says God prepared Yates early on for leadership.
The story goes that the slave master's wife passed away and his mother was called into the home to take care of the home and children and cook and clean. And that in itself, I believe, was a blessing of God because it afforded Jack a whole new world.
He learned to read, write, and carry out business. We
know that he was able to grow to the position where the slave master trusted him with business transactions.
Yates eventually became a minister on the plantation and married an enslaved woman with whom he had 11 children. Then God unveiled his Texas plans for the family.
We know that his will was for Jack Yates to get here. The question is how he got him here is the phenomenon.
What happened? Yates was freed, and his wife's enslaver announced they were moving to Texas.
Jack Yates did something extraordinary. He didn't stay north and work to save money to buy his family's freedom later. He immediately went back into slavery because of the love of his wife and his children.
Fast forward to June 19th, 1865, when news of the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation made it to nearby Galveston.
You've got hundreds of former enslaved Africans who are now freed. There's no black neighborhoods, there are no black hotels, there are no black Airbnbs. So what the Union soldiers did was gave them tents. But here's the piece for me that is overwhelming for me. The first thing that they did after settling in was not build a neighborhood, not build a school, not build a shopping center, but they built a church in which they gave God glory.
Just months after emancipation was announced in Texas, Antioch Missionary Baptist was started. It was not only the first black church in Houston, it was the first brick structure in the city to be built and owned by African Americans.
They didn't get revenge. They didn't turn on themselves. They celebrated and purchased this existing property in 1870. Jack Yates was a huge proponent of business, buying real estate, paying cash.
Yates not only championed Christ, he made education and home ownership a priority, positioning the church to help its members transition from slavery to freedom. Today, the building, nationally recognized for its Gothic Revival architecture, sits in the heart of downtown. Its steep cross gables, pointed arch windows, and Jesus Saves sign directing Houston to Christ.
We always discussed, he was the first pastor.
Jackie McElroy grew up in Antioch Baptist, sitting with her family in the center back of the sanctuary, listening to stories of her great-great-grandpa. When she married Lou, he pastored another church, and conversations turned to Antioch.
I was torn, being committed to where God had me and the love that I felt for my wife.
So you're basically telling me that it was love that led Jack Yates to Texas and eventually this church, and it was love that led you to this church.
I couldn't have said it any better, Heather, but yes, I would have to agree with you.
Sometimes you have to pinch yourself. Never in a million years running around these pews would I have imagined that the man I married would be the pastor of the church. It's an honor and it's a blessing. It's a sense of a duty. It's not to be taken lightly.
Today, the impact of Jack Yates can be seen and felt across Houston. Places like Emancipation Park, the city's first outdoor public space for African Americans, which he helped to found. The local high school is named in his honor. And of course, his first church, Antioch Baptist, which continues to spread the gospel and serve as a community center for learning.
To still be able to be here today, that says that we have discovered, or God has poured into us something that we should and could share with the rest of the world, to teach them that despite your adversity, despite your struggle, there's love poured in there. God is in it.
It's a message of God's sovereignty over the years in the lives of the Yates family and this resilient church still ministering in downtown Houston. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Thank you, Heather. Jack Yates, a gentleman that most students in American schools do not learn about, that may be beginning to change, and his legacy passing beyond just the Houston area. And what a message and time to reflect for husbands and fathers in this nation, that this gentleman who was finally free went back into slavery because of his devotion, his faithfulness, and his love for his wife and children. Incredible for us to be inspired by now, and to think, Terry, his great-granddaughter now married to the pastor of that same church. It's a story only God could weave together.
It really is, and what a beautiful building. Oh my goodness, to think it's still standing and the rich history of it, it's wonderful.
The anointing on that church must be
for certain.
Powerful just when you walk in.
Affecting a city.